Technology keeps developing each day. It's a never-ending cycle that clearly will evolve throughout time. Now, that is a good thing. Although sometimes I feel like, we're going backwards when it comes to medicine. You see, the way that things are targeted nowadays is kind of like they want to scare the people who can make them the most money. I mean, just look at elders. How much do you think Big Pharma makes off of the elderly every single year? Now, after the entire health crisis, you would think that they've made enough, but no. It looks as if they're going to market a new respiratory virus that's going to be the next big thing. Can you guys believe that? Oh, and yeah, the vaccine's already FDA approved. So here's my question. After everything that's happened, and you're free to answer your own opinion as you will, are you willing to get jabbed with a new vaccine? Just comment a quick yes or no on that one. Something else that's developing nowadays is the news of a possible recession. Now, I would say that we could use the term possible loosely, as many believe that, we're already in a recession. However, Costco's CFO says that consumers are already shifting away from specific items, and this is a key indicator of, yet again, another possible recession. So my question is do you guys agree with this idea? Now, apart from Costco, Deutsche Bank and Bank of America are also ringing the alarms as they're seeing a wave of corporate defaults together with a recession as the credit crunch intensifies. Have any of you guys been rejected for a loan lately? All right, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the updates. By the way, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below. Never, ever, ever be caught off guard by another very expensive, unexpected home repair again. Get your free home warranty quote, link down below. Do you guys remember when trends were called the newest craze? Now, I guess this would be for the older generation, but when something was new and popular, it would be called a fad instead of a trend or something viral. But the newest craze today is something that I'm not so crazy about. And it's the one where different companies and experts are calling out how different things are within our economy, starting with consumers. So Costco's CFO, Richard Galante, he's saying that consumers are now starting to choose less expensive cuts of meat. Now, you might say, so what? According to Galante, it's a clear sign that we're headed towards another downturn. He says this, quote, historically, we've always seen, like within fresh protein, we've always seen when there's a recession, whether it's 99, whether it's 2000, 2008, 2009, 2010, we would see some sales penetration shift from beef to poultry and pork. End quote. He also said that in conversation with a fellow executive in the company that some consumers are switching to some canned products like canned chicken and canned tuna. Costco's average daily transaction is also down around 4.2% globally, while it slipped about 3.5% here at home. He also said that the reason behind it is that less consumers or less customers are making big ticket purchases, much like home furnishings or electronics. Now, think about this for a second. Now, we've been talking about this switching of gears in the mindset of consumers for a couple of months now, wherein I've basically been saying that, there will come a time where only the necessities will be sold. And now discretionary purchases are starting to dive, and it shows exactly what is happening right here in the American household. Now, here's the part that's really going to open up your eyes. Consumers are buying meat, but they're opting for cheaper cuts. Like, we need to eat, but we can't afford to eat like we used to before. Now, the question is this a sign of a recession, or are we now headed for a full-blown depression? And some might say that I'm again trying to scare you guys or fear monger, but you can look all this stuff up yourself. These are in articles, and I cite the articles as well. You can read them for yourselves. All I'm doing is delivering the truth to you guys. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, let's go into how analysts from Deutsche Bank are looking at the current trend with lending and how this could lead to a recession with an even harsher economic and business environment that would lead to corporate defaults. Now, I guess that's the price you have to pay when you keep interest rates and lending standards low for so long, and then suddenly you have to do the complete opposite. So here's what their analysts say. Quote, our cycle indicators signal a default wave is imminent. The tightest Fed and ECB policy in 15 years is colliding with high leverage built upon stretched margins. End quote. Bank of America sees the same fate for many companies as they say that a recession mixed with a credit crunch where lending will become so incredibly tight, increasingly tight, it could result in $1 trillion of corporate debt defaults. Now, I love how we keep hearing about that recession being possible when a huge chunk of us are already feeling it. Do you guys agree with their outlook for our economy? Now, on the topic of agreeing, would you guys agree to getting vaccinated for yet another respiratory virus? If not, what if they got someone famous to tell you that you need it?
I've teamed up with GSK to help bring education and awareness around a common contagious virus called RSV. Understanding how to help protect yourself against this virus is important, especially for older adults who are at an increased risk for severe infection.
Yes, that was Irving Magic Johnson, an NBA legend from the Los Angeles Lakers, and he's talking to us about an RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus. Now, I want you guys to remember that last line he said about older adults that are at risk of a severe infection, because I'm going to get to that at the very end of this video here. This is a very common infection that affects the lungs and respiratory tract, so it's so common that some kids age 2 have even gotten it. It's a very scary thought to think of, although this is mostly severe for anyone who may have a weakened immune system. It can also affect adults and even older people with symptoms that are similar to a cold. But what's missing though? Oh yeah, a vaccine. Well, the FDA just approved Pfizer's RSV vaccine for older adults, and according to estimates, they stand to make anywhere from $8 to $15 billion annually from this. But you know what? It's not all about the money with Big Pharma, right? It's about saving lives. So let's check out how they did with their clinical trials. Now, I don't want you guys to be bored out of your minds and have to read this entire thing, but you can go ahead and pause it if you want. But as we can clearly see here, the test was done within a 12-month period, right? It also says that the protection of the vaccine wanes as more doses are provided, mainly seen in those aged 65 to 85 years old. But, and this is what they really want to point out, the protection is still better than nothing. It sure sounds a lot like a vaccine that we all know, right? One that's going to be, what, $130 a jab soon? There is something that's a little off about these trials, and it's their report on the negative effects of the vaccine. We've gone through this entire charade before, and I'm not going to let this one pass that easily. So I checked, and would you look at that? When it comes to adverse events, how long did they check up on these people? 1 month. Now, I'm sorry, but 30 days is nothing compared to 365 days. It's kind of like basing your information on a small piece of data when there's an entire spreadsheet available. And you guys have to understand, where I'm coming from here. I know people who suffered during the health crisis, and in turn, I don't ever want it to happen to anyone else that I know again. Let's go ahead and humor them though, right? So let's check what adverse events happened within a span of a month. 11 people died and some had serious side effects. 103 of them in total, 65 were severe, and 24 of them had life-threatening ones. Now I want to ask you guys, if these are the numbers within a month, how much more would there be in a year? Now, as far as I know, they gave the actual vaccine to around 16,300 people, with another 16,300 people receiving the placebo. Now, this is mind-boggling, guys. Now, before I let this topic go, remember what I said about that line from Magic Johnson about older people being susceptible to this virus? Well, check out this disclaimer from Pfizer's own website about Abrezvo. Did you see that third bullet? Quote, adults with weakened immune systems, including those receiving medicines that suppress the immune system, may have a reduced immune response to Abrezvo. End quote. Seriously? They can't be serious with this, right? I mean, like, what the heck is the point of all of this if it's not to strengthen the immune system to handle RSV? Man, oh man. So what do you guys make of today's updates? I keep saying that I won't be surprised by what's coming next, and then they go ahead and do something like this. Make sure to let your thoughts be heard down in the comment section down below. Now, we all have plenty of worries to think about, but one thing that's remained constant in the comment section is the need for better cash flow. Now, I might not be able to give you guys checks in the mail, but I can give you some knowledge that you can possibly use to make money on your own. I mean, just look at different people who have side hustles, small home-based businesses, small businesses, and they're doing well with multiple streams of income. Now, I've got experience with investments in gold, investments in silver, real estate, the stock market. So if you want to learn how to utilize these different investment methods, feel free to drop me some comments down below, or if you want to take it to the next level, you can join us over in the Patreon community. I'll leave a link for you guys in the description down below. Now, before I go, guys, please do me a huge favor, drop a big like for the video, also subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone you know. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me again, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one.